think it's working now. Yeah, that should do it. I hope. I'm not sure actually. There's been some changes to NVIDIA Broadcast, and there's been some changes to OBS Studio, so I've got to figure kind of it out. But hopefully this will be working now with the virtual camera. But yeah, it's been a while since I've kind of posted. It's been a whirlwind of a couple months, and then kind of getting back into it, and then looking at it from the lens of got a couple clients that needed some tap handles, and we're getting right back into the swing of it here in 2026. But man, I can't believe it's already April, and like almost halfway through April, and I'm still just kind of like flabbergasted with the I don't know. There's just a lot going on, I guess is the best way to put it. And I still need to get into the farmer's market, which is kind of like where I was leaning towards not too long ago, but I just haven't had time. I mean, what a precious commodity, and those that take it for granted, like, hey, sometimes you do what you got to do. So, yeah. I mean, right now we're working on a fresh batch of tap handles for Study Break Hard Seltzer and a batch of handles for Webb's Grainworks. I always forget to do this, but it really doesn't matter. I don't know how many people actually tune in and watch the show, and I need to reach out to a couple of people that I've been like, it's not really slacking, just I need to communicate a little bit better for some of those people. So, I mean, for those of you that are jumping in, awesome, and hopefully some of that stuff will be out, and maybe it'll give somebody some inspiration later on. Anyway, Nick here with a Late Night Garage with Nick. It's 11:23 p.m. on 15 April 2026, and it's like scary to think of that because it's like I started like dabbling in this stuff a long time ago, almost 2 years ago now. But neither here nor there. We have our two printers here that are humming along, making some tap handles for Study Break Hard Seltzer. Meanwhile, we're laser engraving some stuff for Webb's Grainworks, and I'm going to go do a delivery for those tomorrow. Is what my hope is. Before I have to do the daddy drop off for dance and shuffle of kiddos to and from after school programs. And to all you dads out there, salute to you all for doing that, and to all the moms, thank you for your sacrifices. But yeah, it's been good. It's been busy. We'll get kind of right into some laser engraving here in a little bit, and then kind of pick a few things up. I have to really clean out the garage, just because it's kind of turned into a disaster zone. My wife likes to refer to it as the garage disposal. Instead of putting things down the garbage disposal, things get tossed into the garage from time to time, and they magically disappear. And so that's kind of why it's the garage disposal. And I hate it, but at the same time I love it. And that was a very odd noise. All right. So, anywho, we'll get into some laser engraving. And then I got to do some work on the blog posts to get the website a little bit refreshed before we get actually into working with some of the local farmers markets and local craft markets to get some of the product out there for laser engraving and whatnot. So, yeah. But without further ado, we'll kind of cut into it. So, what we have up here is these are actually some very fun artwork that we have from Webb's Grainworks that's going onto our X-Tool F1, being laser engraved into those tap handles. And then we'll heat set the inserts tonight, and we'll have a batch of 20 tap handles ready to go. So the fumes, not really fun to breathe in, so I will be throwing on a respirator. I'm going to kill the microphone, but if you want to like follow along, that's fine too. But yeah. I wonder if there's anybody watching. Usually it's like I jump on and I pull up the chat. I think I've really had anybody else jump into the chat before, so I don't really think it's that big of a deal. But we'll pull it up anyway. Yeah. Sweet. Anyway, We'll kind of let the actual F1 rip for the time being. The camera set positions in on it. It's a reset. Yeah, it's a fun laser to work with. I really want the F2 Ultra UV. When I was working laser engraving for Webb's Grainworks for one of the previous projects for their bourbon glasses, and then working like chalkboard spray paint, all the tape masking, trying to get away from some of that. That way, it just like makes it a little bit more turnkey. Start to hear my own voice, a little bit of buffering. What's great about this is, it's just like literally, it's just part in, part out. And that level of detail in the engraving into polylactic acid is fantastic. Artwork provided by Webb's Grainworks, so it goes right into the tap. And so this batch is like 20 tap handles. Pretty quick cut and dry. I've had this problem recently with the F1 where it pauses and now I have a 30-second timeout because the laser didn't fire. And it's like I don't have that many hours on this unit, but goodness gracious me. I don't understand why I've had so many problems with it as of late. All right, double tapping it the second time, it worked just fine. But yeah, what I was saying is I really want to get the actual F2 UV, or no, yeah, UV? Yeah, UV. Just to kind of work some of the things I'm doing with like glass engraving to make sure glass engraving comes out like super crisp and super clean. And changing the molecular structure of glass is a lot better than like physically etching the glass with like heat energy, just because it makes it more a bit more dishwasher safe. Um, Neither here nor there. But yeah, we're just working on some tap handles tonight, and it's like I wish I would be able to have more time to work on this, but I literally got to clean the garage out just because the garage is a disaster piece. Todd, I know you're out there. I got to get back with you. I got to sync up with you, and get some of those projects across the finish line at the same time. Beautiful. And what I do love about kind of having this kind of workflow is really realistically we're part in, part out, and so we have it set. So it's a tap handle goes in, it gets engraved. The tap handle comes out, it's engraved. Entire box, filament box filled full of more Webb's Grainworks tap handles. I mean, that's why I like using like old cardboard boxes because they work as perfect vessels for projecting. It's like there's some interesting stuff out there with like bamboo and their reintroduction of the X2 printer now. I kind of have mixed feelings about it because I'm like a diehard X1 fan just from a componency level, but also just they had a really good product and they don't need to reinvent the product that they already have out in the market that's really good. It'd be awesome if they had some more innovation as it relates to some of their product sets. And the reason why I say more innovation is that there's so many other things that they could incorporate in to the same perfect X1 footprint, or even the H2 footprint, or the whatever footprint that's not the same, and then is more towards a industrial and or manufacturing capability that our industry partners are looking for. So that lasering and printing, and then maybe more lasering and then more printing as we get into it. But you get an opportunity, it's like swing by Webb's Grainworks, like a distillery slash brewery in Aliso Viejo, California. Highly recommend it. Or if you're up in the Los Angeles area, swing by like Steady Break Hard Seltzer. It's like there's version 1. I got one of the other versions in the house, but really cool what you can do with manufacturing tap handles with 3D printing. And please don't steal my ideas because it's like I've worked hard on them. But the more accessibility that people have to 3D printing, the better. So I'm just moving the cameras around. You can see my mess of a workstation over there. Even with a mess of a workstation, it's great. I just sit here and I can just jabber on while the printers go, and then I swap components out on the laser as needed. So we're about to have a swap here in just a second. And it's number 10. And we're going to have to do the same thing for all the other sides. And as soon as we start the other sides, what we're going to start working on is heat setting in the ferrocoupler. And with the ferrocoupler being heat set in, it's more so slag bolt, and that slag bolt as opposed to the ferrocoupler attaches to. Maybe I'll pull the foot pedal out and then go back to using the foot pedal on it. It was getting kind of sneaky in the garage. I should probably put a mask on, but here we are. Vaporizing polylactic acid. And then at some point, we picked up a mini fridge using some of my employee perks for a company I work for. And then maybe we'll put that to a project for use here in the very near future. Don't breathe in COA fumes while you're laser engraving them. Get a fume extractor. I just don't want to go up the filter. So I just have the garage door open and the side door open, which is good enough for the time being. But it smells a lot better when you have a respirator on, even though it sounds like a stormtrooper. TK421, why are you not at your post? But yeah, it's like once you get a workflow down, it's literally part in, part out. And it goes pretty quick. It's like we're looking at a minute and 47 seconds per side. And once you go, no, like a minute and 12 seconds per side. And then we'll go through and we'll start to get ready to flip them over. And then we'll put the slag bolts. And after the slag bolts, we'll drop the power coupler on them. And we'll kind of go from there. But if you guys have anybody that has a need for some custom tap handles, I turn them out of the garage. I design them out of the garage. It's a fun little side hustle to be in, just because it's like these
40 tap handles, 20 between web going works and 20 between 30 brake hard seltzer. That's going to pay for the operating expenses and then some for the entirety of 2026 or into 2027, which is great. And so find a niche market, kind of get into it. Aside from that, I really don't have a whole heck of a lot else going on. It's just having fun making things in the garage late at night because that's what we do. My wife even called it out earlier. She's like, it's just a micro manufacturing cell. And realistically, this is a micro manufacturing cell. And the more that you can be able to like manufacture your own things and reduce your reliance upon, everything else, that's huge. But again, just one dude. Make that a cultural norm of manufacturing your own stuff. But yeah, just providing a late night update. Now 11:37, and we'll probably sign off because I'm not going to be doing anything too exciting for the next little bit, aside from laser engraving and 3D printing. So, quick April 15th update 2026. The Late Night Garage with Nick, and we'll catch you guys later.